All right, the person on the left did get a year. And I think this started about the middle of 2018, but they wanted the whole year. It might have started sooner. I really don't remember. But now we're in the first week of August 2018, which is nearly approaching. This is why I'm doing this. Welcome to the channel. And we'll see. I'm not sure where this will end up, which channel it'll be on. All right. So it's been a lot going on with the readings, the charts. To the right, to the right is the August 4th chart. And it's funny because you see that Juno and that vertex. So I will say Tauruses, it's indisputable. I mean, just look at it. I don't know. Let me see. I'm just making sure I got my count correct. You can't get past it. It's all about relationships. The ascendant is Libra. And now it's in the 12th house, but they made it the first house with the ascendant, AC, and the East Point. Well, with the ascendant. So that's when it gets tricky. So now we got to find out which one are they counting as the first house. Because that East Point just missed it by about a degree or so. And that's interesting why that happened. One. Yep. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Medium Coeli is in the 9th house. 10, 11. All right. See, it's not a. We got to remember, it's not a birth chart. It's a transit chart or a natal chart, but that's still very, because the relationship Libra is in the 12th house, which again means there's going to have to be some type of closure going on with the. There's going to be some type of closure going on with the relationship, partnership, any legal matters, open-ended enemies, even things that have to do with cemetery, I think, is in the 7th house. So it's going to be some kind of closures going on there. But then the ascendant is also like rising. Because if that was a space chart, it would actually be dealing with something you didn't get done in a past life and something you're going to be waking up to, ascending into in this life. So it's still relationships. All right. It's also the house of sacrifice, so it might be some type of sacrifice going on. Just got to be careful of overextending oneself. I just find it interesting how the East Point is at 1 degree and then the Uranus is at 2 degrees. Because really, this chart right now is all about relationships, partnerships, because that's the 7th house where the moon is. So you can't get past this. Now, let's just make this perfectly clear. We're dealing with Taurus energy, and her sun sign is Taurus. And definitely Libra, because Libra rules the 7th house. But this is all Venus, too. Venus rules Libra and Taurus. And you see Libra. You see Venus at 27 degrees. So when they made this chart, when I say they, I'm going to say spirit. When they made this chart, this transit chart, they already know it's stuff going on with relationship. And you know, I tend to stay in my lane. Like I just like to read the charts, you know. Because some people, they're like psychic, they'll go psychic and tell you more, or you could throw the cards out. But that would get, from my viewpoint, that would get very expensive for the person requesting this. I try to give them what's there. at an affordable rate. But once you start going psychic or throwing cards up to get clarity, that's a lot more. And I guess, like I said, see, I've always come from like the lower classes, like hard working, this lower classes. So I don't really, I don't really, because I would be probably extremely rich if I just saw this as a business. Because when I first got into this, I didn't know what I walked into. But then I realized that people wanted me to deviate from the truth, and I wasn't going to do that part. I love the spiritual aspect of what I do. I'm very, I mean, I got Hindu goddesses coming to me and everything. Like, I love my life where it's at, and I'm here and I'm respected because they know I won't deviate. Sometimes money can be beautiful, but it can also be a crutch. So that's what I'm seeing here. It may even be more than one person. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But it still got Uranus popping up out of there in the 7th house. But so what I'm trying to tell you is it seems like it's going to be some type of ending somewhere, some type of beginning. That's all I can tell you. And this is some weird soul stuff. This is definitely soul connections, probably because the 12th house is dealing with past lives as well. And that's weird. So, like where I work at, it's a female. Like I said about the Hindu goddesses, it's a female that works there. And she knows and I know there's something. And ever since she came in my life, it's been a lot of Hindu goddesses. I'm learning a lot about the Hindu gods and goddesses. And it's amazing. And then there's another female that works there she looks exactly like two different females I used to date at 2 different times, but they had the same name, and they both kind of looked alike. And they're all in my same township. And she looks just like them. And that one's unbelievably friendly. Like she's the female who'll just come up to you and start talking. Like out here where I'm at in Jersey, you don't see that too much. I mean, maybe other guys do. I know I never did. I know friends of mine, they didn't notice it that much. You'll seldom just said, not my part of Jersey. Like up North Jersey, it's not like that. But my part of New Jersey, they don't seldom just come up to you and start talking to you. Very rare. So now I got that connection with her. Now that one comes in my dreams sometimes. But it's a whole lot of stuff with her. So that's some stuff too. All this stuff is past life stuff. But the other one is more powerful. The Hindu is more powerful. The one that's connecting me to Hindu gods and goddesses. And then I saw a female that looked exactly like my twin flame. This is all the last day I worked, which was probably 2 days ago or so. And a man was with that female that looks exactly like my twin flame. And he was talking to me. And when we got done, he said thank you, but she said thank you. And it was kind of ironic because I wasn't really talking to her. She was just standing next to him or whatever. But that was a message, definitely a powerful message from my twin. Now, I told you all that because that's what this chart is basically saying. It's some stuff going on with that vertex cross in the 7th house. And Juno is a serious relationship. You may find yourself in a serious relationship with either a Taurus, a Libra, or somebody with those energies. And her sun sign, let me get on her chart because I'm over here on the website. Now I'm back on her chart. Her sun sign is Taurus. And look, Venus is right there at 0 degrees. So you got Venus. That's what I'm going to have to title this. I'm going to have to title this video, Venus is playing games with you. I'm going to have to put some type of title. I don't know if I'll put this on my Archangel Revelations and Prophecies page or not. But this is going to be an amazing time for these relationships. And I already told you the signs. The moon is always going to deal with the feminine and emotion. So it's going to be like an emotional time. Like with Juno, anything could happen with Juno. To me, it really looks like something's going to come out the freaking woodwork. It could be a breakup, but that's not what I'm seeing. But I could be dead wrong. It could be just somebody just break. You could break up. It might be a breakup, but I'm not really seeing. I'm seeing more like somebody just popping up out of nowhere, or somebody just saying something out of nowhere. Almost like if you're like I'm talking about these women that I work with. Not saying that this would ever happen, but it's almost like one of those females just like kissing you, like out of nowhere. Like what the hell just happened? Or did they really just say that? That's what I'm getting. It could be a breakup, like, oh, I don't know, but I'm getting like something coming out of somewhere that's going to shock you because it's coming from the moon. It's coming from the emotions. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to do. I wanted to go check out my moon phases if I could find it real quick. I'm gonna try to do it on time and space. Did I get moon phases? All right. Let's see. All right. So August 4th is 1 week before the new moon, and there's something big about that new moon on August 11th at 5:57 a.m. But we'll be doing that in our next reading. All right. So that's what hit my eye at first. I just didn't know what I was getting myself into, but that's how Spirit talks to you. That's the first thing I saw was just the seventh house. So it's definitely love coming, but it's going to be something shocking, something surprising. But it's dealing with a serious relationship because there's Juno, and you're dealing with some type of karmic connection, some type of significant meeting or a significant breakup or a soulmate or twin soul. Twin soul is your twin flame, same soul, different body. And again, this is how a person does it. She should be taking notes. Now, if she wanted clarity with me, she could ask me and I could go to clarity. Or I know she deals with psychics and I'm not jealous. She could deal with them because this is significant. Now, one of her psychics told her I'm a master teacher. Finally, a little respect out here on YouTube. Finally. Not her. She's really good. In fact, she shocked me. Because one time she asked for a reading. This is when I first started doing moon readings. Because a lot of people don't understand how important moon readings are. In fact, I know I'm going to put this particular video on Archangel, Revelations, and Prophecies. They don't understand. I helped out Donnell Whitmore with the moon reading. Because he had some stuff going on in his life there's no way I could have known. But he requested the moon reading, and I knew there was a third woman or a second woman in his life. But that reading helped him out profusely in that situation. So that's what's going on here. Some type of moon stuff going on. There's all different types. This is what you guys don't understand. There's all different types of reincarnations and past lives. And some past lives have to do a lot with the moon. Some past lives have to do a lot with the sun. And that's why we can't figure it out. Sometimes somebody in our life will be connected to us from a past life regarding the sun. And then we have somebody in our life that past life regarding the moon. And we can't figure out what's going on. So that's why you need your natal chart. Because now she has specific questions she could ask. That whoever's going to answer them. They can give clarity. She'll know her houses. She'll know her signs. She'll know her planets. The asteroids she'll know. That'll give her clarity. And if she needed more even after that, that information would help me even more. Because I just explained all of that when I started. So it's not like with these readings, you should be taking notes. Because I'll say something. Why did he say that? Yeah, because I just explained it when I started, And I got to keep it moving. So That's how you get that. So that's what we're focusing on right now. This demands the seventh house. Now you see, and I knew it, thank God. But the moon is going to connect. The moon rules Cancer. All right. So right there where your medium Coeli is. And I always say that house. I always say when you see medium Coeli in your ninth house, that usually has to do with a mentor in your life or a twin. Or sometimes you could be a mentor. When I say twin, your twin flame, your twin soul. But you see, again, it's family. It's family, Cancer, basically. But then you got to go right to Venus in the 11th house, which is friends, association, groups. Because this person, well, I'm really reading the transit chart, and I'm going to continue. But this transit chart is dealing with a person whose family is usually like friends, association, groups, because that's Aquarius. And right now that Mars retrograde is still at Aquarius, and that blood moon changed a lot, and it's still probably changing things. But it's still home because her 11th house is home. See, this is the environment. This is the energy out in the environment on that week. Now, when I say the week of August 4th, what I'm trying to tell you, let me say it better. The week ending August 4th, because we've already covered most of the first week of August last time when I did it. We stopped right at the end of July, and that would have covered your first week. That's why I started here. And what I tend to do, like if it's a new moon in that week, I do the new moon. We start there. If it's a full moon, I do the full moon. We start there. Because that's how powerful these energies are. So right in the universe right now. See, the reason why I'm saying this, I'm looking at this chart, and I'm using this chart to define her chart. Why? Because it's with Taurus. Her sun sign is Taurus. And we've been talking about her relationship issues and all of that. That's why I'm doing it that way. Otherwise, I would do this a different way. That's why I say you have to have somebody who knows what they're doing. And like I said, I'm getting so busy with my life because I also work. I do this and I also work. I work for someone. Like I got to follow instructions and stuff. So I don't have time to just deal with everything. When I was out here before, I was like the mother out here. And you're trying to help people. They're really hard-headed. And yeah, that's what I said. So the reason why I got a lot of respect for this woman, because she was one of the first people with the moon readings. And that reading I got, and it wasn't even me, because I got a lot of flack when I came out here. Because I'm just a very honest person, but that's why you got to understand, if you knew how many female saints and goddesses come to me, if you knew, and that's an honor, because why are they coming to me? And a lot of these females have been brutally beaten, killed, abused, violated, and put to death. And they all tend to come to me. A lot of them Hindu goddesses that came to me, same thing. Catholic saints have come to me. A very famous woman, Philippa Schuyler, came to me. So I know it's the truth. And that's what resonates with higher or whatever you want to call it. Even lower. Lowers will come to you. But it's the truth. And therefore, when you get caught up on vices and lust and all that stuff, you kind of cutting yourself off from that. Because whatever frequency you're emitting, that's what's coming back to you. So when I did her moon reading, the same thing with Donnell. Same thing with Donnell Whitmore. Kind of caught her right on time. Because they were kind of like, I was like, that's what I'm saying. Earlier I had a reputation for that. I kind of fell back. But this time it was the experts I was referring to. And they would say, oh no, you're not, you have improper think. Well, let me change the word, not improper, but you have unrealistic. You have unrealistic thinking. And they were saying it. So I could only say what they were saying. It wasn't even me that time. You know, because they hear my voice, I take a lot of flack. A lot of times it's the people I'm reading. Or if I'm doing the cards, it's usually the cards are saying something. But I might repeat what they say, but because they hear my voice, I get blamed for it. So, but she took it. You know, she took the information, and that's how you're supposed to do your natal chart. You don't. The people that want the reader or astrologer or psychic or the dumb it down just to make you feel good, that's a weak person. That's an immature person. And if you don't grow up, your life is going to still have problems. The purpose of your natal chart, card readings, whatever you're doing, is to help you see things, even things about yourself that could change. I mean, the world's still not going to be perfect. None of us are going to be perfect. But if we stay at that level where we just want to stay in fantasy world, we're just going to keep sleeping around. And this is how you incur bad karma. And that's why you see somebody with a lot of auras on their natal charts and things like that. They have karmic debts and things. And a lot of these people were hard-headed in the past life. They're still hard-headed in this life. And they just keep reviving of just reincarnation. They never send anything higher. That's why I tell you, that's why I'm more into the way I do it. And I can see it. Like I'm up at the white sun. I'm up with the chakra system, further initiated. I don't know if you guys know what the pink lotus means. I'm down with that. See, that's because that's why I love where I'm at. And that's why I said it comes a point when you have to stop worrying about third dimensional and keep ascending. Because as long as you deal with third dimensional, you're dealing with people that they want to keep on making excuses and being babies, and they want to love this life more than the higher frequencies. So, but that's their choice. But you got, like I said, for a person like me, I got to stop letting that pull me in. And as I always say, the only person I'm really responsible for is my elderly mother. All right. So that is the tone of her life right now, because she is that. And now you see how her vertex is with Libra. Now looking at her chart, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Her 7th house. See? So you know that whatever I said about the vertex, she has it going on in her relationship sector. But it's almost going to be some type of upset. Now, in the second house of the universe, because Taurus rules the second house, that's the money, possessions, value system. And again, Taurus is really high on value systems. Sagittarius can be anything long distance, foreign. It could still be higher courts. And why do I have to bring that up? Because when you see Libra in the 12th house, you could still be dealing with higher courts. So it's at 22 degrees. Sagittarius. It could still be your higher self, religion, philosophy. And Sagittarius is a centaur, so it could be healing as well. So let's just say this person has some court situations with foreign money or long distance money. What I'm seeing here is it may be some healing with that. And this is why people say a lot of times it's a general read, because it may not apply to her, but it may apply to somebody else that has that Taurus sun sign or moon sign, or a Libra sun sign or moon sign. Now, what I can do, though, is follow her Sagittarius on her chart and see what happens. Her Sagittarius, okay, so you have Neptune retrograde, and that could be escapist, not wanting to deal with it. Not wanting to deal with it. But with Vesta, but see, Vesta is also isolation. Even though Vesta is in that second house, that's kind of scary. Because now I'm looking at the chart on the right. Because Vesta can mean isolation. And you, like, what everybody, you guys got to understand, because a lot of people like to argue. But let me tell you something, what isolation is. Like, usually when a court wants to talk to you, they let you know it. And they give you some type of date or some type of summons. Just like if somebody called you on the phone and said, hey, listen, the judge has scheduled a court date for you Friday, blah, blah, blah. Now you can walk around saying, hey, I never got no summons. Yeah, but they still told you was doing court. So yeah, you did get a summons. You still got to show up. And if you summon a spirit and it shows up. So we can play games with words. What I'm trying to say is, with this configuration, Vesta can mean something spiritual, spiritual healing, and maybe with Sagittarius, you're sending money out long distance, or you got long range views on your money, or you're healing people with the Centaur, Sagittarius healing. Or it can also mean legal situations where you're in some type of hold, because that's really what Vesta is. You could say isolation, but isolation and hold is the same thing. You ain't going nowhere. Let me just say it again. If somebody picks up the phone and says, hi, this is the so-and-so municipal court district, just want to remind you that you have a hearing with Judge so-and-so at 2 p.m. Friday. And you say, you hang up the phone. And then you say, listen, I ain't getting no paperwork. I ain't going. And you go somewhere else. Well, now that judge has a legal right to put a warrant out for your arrest. And you can bicker and batter when they're arresting you and taking you into a jailhouse, which will now be literal isolation because you didn't come when you were summons. And that summons is a hold. In other words, don't schedule nothing and make sure you're here to be before the judge on that day. I don't care if you didn't get written paperwork or not. You were told to be here. That's a legal bond or a hold. So that's what I'm showing. And now why is that important that I'm saying it that way? Because some people do have legal situations and they don't understand the law. But this is kind of like what you're looking at. It's a relationship thing. And it's still universal. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When I was working in my job with my twin flame, she was doing everything to just be just a mean, wicked person. And so I started screaming out to God, like, this better stop, because I usually don't take a lot of crap. But I'm trying to change. So I'm trying to take the higher road. Like, okay, I didn't know what a twin flame really was at first. So I was like, listen, I'm not interested. Don't want nothing to do with this. I got other plans in my life right now. And I don't need this silly stuff right now. But the twin was going to make it as horrible as possible for me. And she did. So that's when I started crying out to God, like, this better stop. This better stop. So the very next day, there's a big meeting. And the woman that conducted the meeting, I shouldn't say big meeting, but an unexpected meeting, like a Uranus meeting at my job. And the woman that was conducting the meeting, the head of human resources or personnel department, while she was talking, she only kept looking at two people, me and my twin, even though my twin was actually on the other side of the room. But out of everybody else in the room, she didn't even really look at them that much because she knew us. We were there longer. But the bottom line is that was a universal message. It may have looked like just a job meeting, but it wasn't. It was a universal message. And that was something in the universe telling my twin to calm your crazy ass down. Because this guy, he's getting sick of you, and he'll come up to you and basically tell you, stop effing with me. Maybe not use a curse word, but I would have let her know, like, I don't know what's going on. Because I didn't even know what a twin flame really was at that point. I just knew something was weird. I was starting to learn about it. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't have time for this. Stop playing with me. I'm not a toy. But fortunately, that never happened that way. So you got all this stuff going on. And then it's like I said, and it's connected directly to the family. But the family on this chart, like I said, is friends, association, and groups. And if you notice, both this chart, her chart on the left, and this chart both have good fortune in Cancer. A part of fortune in Cancer, and that one's at 22 degrees. So she's going to have a very active first week. It will consider family, but also friends, association, and groups. And it's also going to consider the home. And the people responsible for doing this is Venus and Taurus. Now, usually I tell you, when you got Mars retrograde too, and you notice your Venus is in Aries. So it's going to be explosive. I don't know exactly where, because it's not just, listen, it's not just relationships. What I feel in my heart, and I could be dead wrong, but maybe somebody else needs to hear what I'm about to say. But it looks like it's more than one person. But there's possible love there. But I think you have to decide what you want to do. Because maybe you got a little immaturity going on there. And maybe you have to come to some type of conclusion of what you want to do. Because this looks like it's some type of beginning, ending. Something's going to come out of nowhere. Like I said, somebody just gives you an ultimatum. Or like, you know, like if you, like, I'm sure this has happened to anybody. This, like if you've ever worked or even school, whatever. But somebody just comes out of nowhere and shows you some type of, like, I want to be with you emotions. And you don't know if this is just, you know, what is it? Do you really mean it, or what are you telling me? But yeah, so this is going to be a very impactful week for you, but not just with relationships, money, any family, friends, association, groups. But there's a strong power that's trying to make it domesticated, home. See, Virgo, not Virgo, yeah, well, you can say Virgo. Venus, the moon, are really going out of their way to make this more home. Because that's what Juno wants. See, Juno wants a serious relationship. So Juno has no problem with home. Because she kind of really wants a serious relationship. So that's what the transit chart is saying. But your Venus has that Aries. And Mars retrograde is still in the home sector. Even though it's friends, association, and groups. So that's what my internal was telling me to tell you, that it's a little bit of growing up time. And with the moon, it can be very emotional. But it's going to be a lot of decisions to be made and a little bit of growing up time. But the universe is going to hit you with a lot at this time. And it may be things going on with your dreams as well. As I always say, you may want to keep a notebook at your bed to write down your dreams. You might even want to keep a notebook with you throughout your day, throughout your night, in case things come up. Okay, so on a chart on the right, the transit chart, the space chart, Aries energy, see how Chiron is retrograde? So it's going to be past wounds that have not healed yet, but they may come up. And if you notice, it's 2 degrees, 2 minutes. You still got 22 there. A lot of 22s on this chart. And just so you know, for people that understand esoteric stuff, 22 is the real number of God's people. The real people of God. Not the ones claiming to be God's people, but are not. That's Revelation 2 verse 9, Revelation 3 verse 9. But for guys like me, I already knew this Aquarius moon had a lot to do with those people. And if you notice, all right, let me go on. Yeah, you see a lot of 32s and 33s. See, like 33 would be Freemasonry. So that, because that's going to be the spirit out in the world. So expect more problems with if Islamic minded individuals. All right. So Aries is in the 6th house, which is Virgo, which is really healing, but it's still a home. But you, because your Venus, see, your Venus is just coming out of Aries at 0 degrees. But it still got Mars. It's like your Venus love was trying to get away from aggressive Aries, but Mars is right there. In fact, Mars is saying, listen here, Venus, I'm not going to let you come in here. I'm number one. See, I was at 1 degree. You ain't getting past me. So if somebody just showed me that, I would say this is a person who's going to have a lot of trouble in their love affairs. Because Mars is going out of his way to trap Venus. And I'm going to tell you, one time with my twin flame situation, both Mars and Saturn blocked Venus. Because me and Venus, that's my best friend. Me and Venus was so close. I had such a great literal relationship with Venus. If you guys only knew. See, this stuff is real. That's why I don't play games with it. When you realize this, this is all living. Everything up there is living. It's alive. And if you really just studied like just the mythology or Hindu mythology, you see people talking to these things. Even in the Bible, you see Joshua and Joseph talking to the sun and moon and stuff. So this stuff is real. So in her case, Venus has been blocked. But the transit chart for this week, which will end on August 4th, 2018, they're trying to heal Venus with Virgo and Aries in the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo. So they're trying to heal it. They're trying to heal that situation she has in her 1st house and 2nd house. They really are. That's why this is all about Aries energy and Taurus. So far, she's got to want to communicate. She's got to want to kind of decide what she wants to do. Because I see it as some type of choice. I really do. I don't personally see, it could be the same person, but I don't see this as just one person. And see that moon, see that Uranus is coming out of nowhere with the moon. And see her moon sign is Aquarius, which again is friends, association, groups. And that's interesting. And then it's Aquarius in the transit chart is in the family sector. But the family sector has Aquarius, which means it might not necessarily be like bloodline family. It's more like friends, association, groups that you call family. Or it could be a distant family member, a cousin, or relative, something like that. So we don't know if even that's a situation. Because sometimes people say, "Oh, they're just friends," this one's my boyfriend, but we're just friends. But you're real close. Like you're so close with this so-called friend that if you guys were out somewhere, like sitting at a bar or something, and people walked in, they would think you two were together. But you're just saying, "Oh no, we're just friends." Because that's her moon sign. Is that Aquarius? That Aquarius energy. So it just seemed like she's connected to a lot of stuff. And I think she's going to have to make some type of decision somewhere. And as far as any Mars Aries stuff that's on her chart, the universe is trying to heal it, at least at this time. At this time, but I do believe she's always going to have an issue with that, because see, that's her first house is Aries, so that's going to be a very, aggressive, moving, headstrong, just going boom, boom, boom. And then love is kind of like blocked, and it's even going to affect her second house because Mars is right there. And there's her Juno too. I didn't even see Juno. And Chiron is healing, but see, even Juno. But see, again, it's that Taurus energy. Now, like, sometimes a person could act like a Taurus, but they're not necessarily a Taurus. Or a Taurus might not be their sun sign or moon sign, but it's still significant on their chart. But I really think this is a Taurus. Because look, Juno Taurus on her chart, and then Juno Taurus there. So that's why I said I can't get past this. She has decisions to make, and this is very complicated. And I'm sorry that it is that way, but sometimes you have to just make those decisions. And, see, her Mercury is direct, which means she can communicate with that the Taurus energy. Because I know she's Taurus. So I don't know. The other person can be Taurus or hard-headed or like a Taurus. Strong, patient, money-minded. But she has Mercury on her side, even though, Mars is there. But what I'm trying to tell you is, with Mercury on your side with the sun, if you were to talk, it's a good chance you could be heard. Now, the challenge is, right now, Mercury is retrograde in the sun sign of Leo. And Leo is your fifth house with Juno, which is where your money is, which we've already talked about with Lilith. We've already discussed all that. But the fifth house could be somebody you date. But really, your chart is in perfect sync. Like, your first house really is Aries. Your 12th house really is Pisces. Most charts aren't like that. So I would say you have to probably communicate more. Like what I say, like, we have a unique universe that we just do. But you'd be surprised how, like, a lot of times a female might not want to talk or whatever. She don't want no drama, or it's just females are just naturally, they just keep information to themselves like a cat. But sometimes it's to your advantage to talk. Like the person I met, I did a song because I'm doing my music now, but I'm doing like I'm just messing around. It's nothing serious. I'm just having fun, like the Archangels told me to do. And I could find, the moment I started doing what the Archangels told me to do, I'm getting all kind of enlightenment. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going higher and higher. I'm dealing with Hindu stuff now. I'm not even really dealing too much with other stuff. So people that stay low, they go, oh, that song sucks. Oh, that's stupid. But they don't understand I'm just having fun. And I already just had a situation where I created a name and somebody immediately stole it. And now we're fighting. I'm fighting to trying to get that person to take that name off of YouTube because that's my name. I came up with that. So that's why I don't like, creating and going public, because as soon as you do, whether you copyright it or not, somebody may still take it. So then you're going to have the money for the lawyer and everything to get your stuff back. So that's why I don't like doing that. So that's why I just like do what I do. Just come out, just play with it a little bit. But I still give a lot of revelations through that music. And I get a lot of revelations from that music, just like the Archangels told me I would. So why am I telling you that? Because if you speak, there's a good chance you can get past it, even if it's kind of misunderstood. But you have the power of communication, and communication is going to be essential for your Juno or your serious relationship with that Taurus energy. So you got a lot of challenges, but like I said, one, you got to start to really be honest with yourself, because sometimes people just don't know how they really feel. You got to really work on that. And I think it would be to your advantage to don't be so scattered, because it seems like you're all over the place. All right. So the ninth house on the transit chart, you see the 22 again, medium coeli. But again, it's family. So on the, I'm not saying this is her chart, but on the space chart, the transit chart, it's dealing with family or education, but it's all higher education or foreign family, stuff like that. This can even deal with students that go from country to country on some type of visa because they're going to school in that country. But medium coeli can deal also with a person's purpose in life, but again, that's for the universe. But the good news is it could because see, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so it could still be a blessing. It could still be a blessing financially or in good fortune, because that's what good fortune is right there. So her fourth house may be really good at this time, but somehow her fourth house. This is how they're playing. I knew because whoever writes this chart, they love to play games. So good fortune is going to take you to Capricorn. So once again, they're mixing Capricorn energy with Cancer energy, and they're opposing each other. Because Capricorn is supposed to be family energy and stuff like that. And I mean, Cancer energy is supposed to be family and stuff like that. And Capricorn energy is supposed to be career. And medium quality can connect to the career sector, the 10th house as well. Because most astrologers, when they see medium quality, they sometimes say 10th house. But I don't think you should do that, because what if medium coeli is in the 8th house? That can get confusing, because the 8th house is not the 10th house, so you get confusing. A lot of them say, it's in the 9th house, so you might as well just say 10th house, because it's so close to the 10th house. But no, if it's in the 9th house, say 9th house, even if it is medium coeli. All right. So when you're true north node, you're going to have a lot of Leo energy, but that's healing. So again, that's why, because it's Virgo. So that's why I'm telling you to you just gotta learn how to communicate better. And also, it's unique because you have Saturn right there, and he has the nerve to be at 7 degrees, because that's 7 would be your relationship sector. So they're kind of telling you to like I said, Saturn. I don't think in this particular setting, it's not saying try to control everything in the house. But what they're trying to tell you is you have to start to be more like, I was in a situation where everything was just going wrong. So somebody thought I was a flake. And I hate stuff like that. And I just hate, like, this planet like, the universe has a sense of humor. And to me, it's like the trickster. But, so they'll make things look like things that they're not. And everybody will be looking at you like you're the loser. When really, you're probably an unbelievably great person and great worker. But you have to get through. But that's the challenge. Because somebody's going to say, well, you keep telling everybody how unbelievably great and good you are as a worker. Well, why can't you get through these obstacles? So first you're pissed off. You say, look, why do I have to get through this when it's a bunch of bullshit? All of this shit is a lie. But they say, but that's our point. If you're such a good worker, you should be able to work through that. So you're pissed off, but that's the challenge. So you say, okay, I'll show you. And then you go back in, and if you really are what you say you are, maybe some of those people that thought you were a flake begin to say, okay, this person's not a flake. Maybe they did have some bad, they just had a bad period that they had to get through, but they're not a bad, they are a great worker. So you gotta communicate, because otherwise you just, the person doesn't know. So according to this setting by which I said it, and that's why you have to pay attention, you have to follow notes. Because otherwise you'll think I'm talking about just Saturn and her 6th house with Virgo. I'm not. I'm going back to where we ended up at. We ended up in the 9th and 10th house area of the space chart, which told me to follow the true north node, which I did, and that took you right next to Saturn. So what they're telling her is, the universe is trying to push you more into a home, serious relationship type. And when I'm being told that if you just show the person that you're serious about it, that they may be willing to believe you. But don't tell a guy, I really want this, but then you're still goofing off with the other guy or the friend or whoever, what the hell's going on with this chart. I mean, it has to be communication. And this is what people don't want sometimes. Like, they just go, trust. You just should trust me. And I've been on this planet a long time, and I'm going to tell you something. That's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I'm a Leo. I'm a loyal dude. That would be one of my biggest wishes on this planet. But now that I've been hit with metaphysics and I realize I'm not just here to find love, I'm here because I'm sent to do exactly what I do. So I had to swallow that part of my life. But I'm not saying it's over with yet. In fact, more and more of my Leo is starting to come back. But, so I know love and loyalty and stuff. And I really do. But here's the deal. Women make it very hard. And you guys get away with it because very few men are brave enough to even say that. But women make it very hard. You guys saw Fatal Attraction. That guy had the universe helping that woman. And they made it rain. So he had, because when he first saw her, even though he was attracted to her, he was a married man. And he tried his best to just keep a distance. But that woman was hitting that power you women have. She was already using it. And then the plan was to get on the train and go home, or get on the subway and go home. But it was a terrible rainstorm. So he said, okay, let me go in the bar and get a drink. And wait for the rain to stop. And then there she was, sitting at the bar. And from that point on, it was over. So it's very difficult. So that's why I said trust is bullshit. Because you can get hit with so much, anybody could get taken out. Anybody. If you're a man and you're attracted to women, anybody can get taken out. Even if he is the most faithful person in the world. Because you're dealing with stuff you don't understand. You're in a world that's bent on temptation, and that's what the whole spiritual book is about. You only get to chapter 3 and already guys getting tempted and all kind of crazy stuff. And that's the world. They say Messiah got baptized in Matthew chapter 3. Messiah is getting tempted in Matthew chapter 4 by the Holy Spirit. Read it. Read it. Don't get mad at me. Read it. So to say trust me is bullshit. How about communication? How come mutual respect? How about let's set up some policies so that if stuff starts to go wrong, we can stop this shit before it gets out of hand. See, that's maturity. That's how it should be. And that's what you're seeing here with True North Node and Leo. See, I'm the Leo. And the sun sign is there. And the Leo with Saturn in her house. Because this is the 10th house. Ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So they're telling her you have to grow up a little bit. Even though it might be more fun, a lot of guys showing you attention. You're hanging out with your friends and, drinks are free. And it's just a fun way to be. But the universe is pushing you. Not saying you have to make the final choice. I wasn't ready for my twin back then. And if she's still the same little immature girl as she was back then, I'm not ready for her now. Because that was ridiculous. And I understand this crazy world we're in. But the hell that woman put me through. I never did nothing to her. If I did, it must have been in a past life. Maybe it was my karma. I don't know. But she was just a straight up a-hole. So I don't need that drama in my life. So if she came around now, she would have to, either you're going to talk, because I'm not going to go through that stuff with you again. If you don't want to talk, we don't have to talk, but I'm not going to play games. And that's it. And she'd be like, wow, he really has no patience with me. Nah, you already know that. And it's not even personal. I don't have no patience with anybody. Like, talk. What are you talking? And I understand the whole twin flame thing, why your twin's not talking and it's a reflection of you and blah, 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 blah. Life goes on. Okay? Life goes on. The biscuits got to be burned in the burner. Okay? We got to get the biscuits on the table. Life goes on. I'm sick of this yada, yada, yada excuse for everything. So this is what the universe is telling her. That's why I'm trying to show you guys. But you have to listen and pay attention. Otherwise, you're going to be saying, well, how did he get there from Saturn in the sixth house and with Virgo? Yeah, because you're not listening. I explained that. You got to take what's going on in the transit chart, because that's going to dictate what's going on in your natal chart. And they're telling her to tap into her sun energy. Her sun energy is Taurus, but also tap into her Leo energy, which is the 5th house that can be dating or relationships. And there's also Juno there with the finance, not Juno, Jupiter there with finances. And we already talked about the Virgo. So she has to become more communicative. Sometimes you communicate by email, letter. If you can't do it in person, maybe a walk or whatever. But as a woman, that should be your goal. That's why I don't really understand relationships in third dimensional. Because it just doesn't seem like it seems like it's a setup to me. Because I'm just saying, if I'm a female, I want my man to know me. I want it, just like you hear me talking. I want you to know where I'm coming from. Like, my boss probably thought I was out of my fucking mind. I was hitting him with emails. He was like, stop sending me emails. And I kept sending them. I know I really want to work here, but this is what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make you understand. And if you do something crazy, I'm going to fight it. I told him to his face, you go ahead and do that if you want to. I'm going to fight it. But he's like, wow, this guy's nuts. But he's a great worker. He really wants to work here. So it's like somebody telling you, I really want this relationship to work. No, I'm not giving up. No. I mean, don't get to the point where you're calling the cops on you. But even if he did, at least he knows why they really want this. That's what I don't understand about third dimensional. And you guys hate me. But it's so fucking weak. But you'll fight for your drugs. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. We gotta fight for our right to party. Yeah. But you won't fight for your rights to stay with your wife or your husband or your freaking kids. Every day I read Yahoo, and all I hear is people killing their own your kids. What the hell is wrong with third dimensional? So I think it's a setup. That all of a sudden we're quiet. You don't want to talk. And then it's his fault. Oh, well, he should have known. Okay, well, maybe he's not psychic. It's just so quick. And it's like when you first meet the person, oh, it's the one. The sex is great. A lot of you guys rush into marriages and stuff. Give it a couple of months. You don't even want to see the son of a bitch again. Fuck that bitch. Like, what the hell happened? And then you guys think that you're not going to pay for that. Like, I'm not supposed to talk about karma or nothing like that. I'm just supposed to go, oh, love. Oh, it's okay for you to sleep with another guy. Oh, you needed that to learn. It was a learning experience. And this is what I'm supposed to do when I know that that's going to send your ass to hell or somewhere where you're not going to be happy when you get there. But I'm supposed to lie to you and get your money. And everybody that's doing that, they're going to pay too. So that's what the chart is saying. Time to grow up a little bit. Find a way to communicate and just, it's like there's a time and place for everything. There's nothing wrong with being Aries or being a little aggressive. And it's funny because your Vesta is in your Aries, which is a little weird. But Venus is getting kicked out of there. That's weird. So you got to remember whatever I said when I did your natal chart, because I know I had to have covered that. Because Vesta's fiery too. She's the furnace. So that could be somebody that has a really hot, like when they get mad, or they can be very passionate too. But I would think that Virgo would, Venus would. But you have to understand how natal charts are. Because your Venus could actually be 29 degrees and not 0. Because if it's 29 degrees, that means it's a very passionate, hot person. And wow, that's the person you want to be with. Because this is like unbelievable. But Vesta might have been saying, hey girl, you're too hot. So at some point in your life, I want to make you more spiritual. Because Vesta can be either that highly sexual priestess, or she can just be a very spiritual priestess. Because she works with Virgo too, just to let you know. But I think this person is going through changes and with this help of this Leo energy, which is me, she's learning. that yeah, you know, you have to be a little bit more Saturnian in your relationships. You got to talk a little bit more, let the person know how you feel, and like I did, like I'm still there. And I mean, the guy's probably still looking at me like this guy's weird. He's a flake, but he's a great worker. You know, maybe he's not lying. He seems to really care. You know, so he'll get over that. At some point, he'll get over that. And that's what happens with relationships. Like, wow, like guys want that. That's why I feel sorry that you ladies don't understand it. But see, I'm speaking from a New Jersey East Coast, and I'm in a certain part of New Jersey because I know up North Jersey, like the females are different. But where I'm at, it's like you know, it's just what it is. What it is. But you got to be one tough cookie to be over here. But that's an unbelievable thing when you actually see a female that shows you I'm serious about this, and that's one of the reasons why like fatal attraction occurred. Because just like women love guys that really shower them with attention and stuff, but men like that too. And that's how some women are really good. They say she's a man eater, but that's because she knows how to make him feel a certain way that his wife isn't doing, or his girlfriend and stuff. That's why you guys have a job too. It's not just a guy always making you feel a certain way. So this is what I'm showing you on the chart. Because even when you look over here on the transit chart, Venus is in the 11th house. That's home. I mean, that's friends, association, and groups, but Virgo is home. And Venus and Virgo, they're also priestess, just like Vesta, because Vesta works with Virgo, and she can even work with Venus, especially her sexual side. So both of these charts go together. That's why she didn't know what she was requesting when she did it, but something inside of her did. Because it's been talking to her. Since I've been doing these charts, especially talking to that Taurus energy primarily. Libra, Taurus energy, yeah, and a little bit of Virgo. So that's the career, kind of. And sometime your career, whatever your career is. But they're sending a little Leo energy into her career to hopefully push her to a more serious situation, which appears to be that, you know, possibly Taurus energy. Possibly. Because that's what I'm seeing on her second house and on this 7th house. But then you got Aries there in the 6th house with Venus. And without natal charts, you can't really know. You would have to have the people's natal charts and stuff. But usually, if you're listening, paying notes, if you're taking notes, paying attention, you kind of get the idea. Because I'll have people tell me, oh, that's my father, he's a whatever. He's that sign. Or my brother's that sign. So they'll already have an idea who this is talking about. All right. So now that we got that all straight. So per this natal chart, the Capricorn energy has to do, per this reading of both of these charts, the Capricorn energy, the 10th house, ruled by Capricorn, has to do with her relationship energies. Leo energy, 5th house, but I'm kind of thinking it's still going to have to do with that relationship she's in. Because your 5th house can be relationship. See, because that's what I'm trying to tell you. 5th house is not so serious. But I'm trying to tell you, I think they're trying to push her to be more serious. And see, when Mars and Saturn blocked Venus and she couldn't get to me. And even when I went out that night to try to ask her what was going on, a cloud came and blocked her. But then later on, that week, I think, I don't know, this is like maybe 3 years ago, I don't remember. But whatever that week was, whatever it was, something said to me, because I was going, what's going on with Venus? What's going on with Venus? And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in my kitchen, and something said, step outside and look up, and you'll have your answer. I stepped outside and looked up, and it was this big, bright planet shining back. And I said to myself, is that Venus? And I ran and got on my space charts and everything, and it was Jupiter. And from the moment Jupiter introduced himself to me, I started having money. And when I got some money, I had to go to an ATM machine. It's early in the morning. And I went to the ATM machine, and Jupiter was right out there, right above me. And the ATM machine didn't work, and I was getting pissed off. Because, see, my life has always been like, when you're righteous, Like it's like this planet hates your guts. Like the book, like if you read Genesis, it talks about Joseph. Like Joseph was a righteous dude, and they hated his own family hated him. So it's like earth angels get a foot up their ass from the moment they come here. The book of Job, same thing. If you notice, the book of Job starts off talking about angels in Job chapter 1 and 2. So that's like earth angel stuff, and a foot up his ass too. So once that card didn't work, I was pissed off. I like, here we go again. And it's like, yeah, oh, when is my luck ever going to change? Now, if you're saying, when is my luck going to change? And the king of luck is right above you. It's Jupiter. He said, don't worry about it. Just go across the street to that other bank. And I went across the street to the other bank, and then the money came out. And no matter what happened with all that, I'm still moving forward. You can't get scared. Because like I said, that's why I can say don't just look at the Bible as a religious whatever. That's a metaphysical book. And that's why you see God was always making his people go in storms and storms. He did it to his apostles, his disciples. He did it to Jonah. He did it to Paul. So he's always going to send storms. But he wants you to be able to walk through that without no fear. And that's what David said. Oh, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should fear no. So once you start realizing that, things change. And you don't have to have the fear and all that. Sometimes you just have to trust the universe. And sometimes you do. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, because people say you should never show people all your cards, because they're gonna take advantage of you. They're not gonna respect you. Like, and I'm always the type to say, damn, is everything a game on planet Earth? Is everything backwards? Like what we should do, we don't, and what we shouldn't be doing, we do, like the drugs, the excessive sex with everybody, the alcohol. Everything we shouldn't do, we do excessively. But stuff we should do, like love our family, work through differences. Let's not treat each other so bad. We do that. So I think it's a little crazy. But when I go back to the angels and the space charts, they agree with me. But it's just that when I go back to the people, they want me to bend. And I'm not going to bend, because don't you see your planet? Don't you see your lives? And they'd rather just run. Oh, fuck him. Just go somewhere else. He's too depressing. No, I'm not depressing. I just told the truth. And they'll just lie. So each person's got to make their choice, but my job is to read it. And that's why I said I give her credit, because not only did she take that moon reading, she applied it to the best of her, because that's all you can do. Nobody's perfect. Apply it to the best of your ability. But she came back, and she's been coming back. And then she asked for the whole year, which is what I'm doing. And then like she went to a psychic, and the psychic said, you have a master teacher in your midst. And I know that's me. It could be somebody else too, but I know it's me. Like, I don't let people, you're not going to play me out just because you want to be weak and you want to run away. That's you. Don't blame me. Well, when are you going to be an adult and stand up? And that's why I said, so I'm looking for somebody that can stay. But see, the universe, like I said, the universe plays games. Everything I hate is what I'm sure. But don't get me wrong. If my twin and I had got past whatever was blocking us, she might have been a great person. But everything I hated, she was. I go get it. She thinks you're supposed to suck up to her to make her a function. And I hate people like that. You know, but I know that's how I know she's my twin, because my family, I got people in my family like that. They think somehow you're just supposed to make them feel a certain way or some kind of crazy stuff. And I guess a lot of people out here like that. That's not my job. Like, I'll do some things. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Leo. We love to have fun. But I'm not going to sit there and cater to you every day. And even in a relationship, that's why I said it had to be a little bit more mature. Like, we got to both cater to each other. Otherwise, why would I want to be in a relationship, stopping my whole life for one person who's not even trying to make me happy? Because I know I would make them happy. It's just my nature. I'm a Leo. So I don't like all this drama, but I think that's what third dimensional is about. It's all about challenges and obstacles and drama. And you either swim or you sink in third dimensional. But if you sink, I think you go lower. I really believe that. Like, I think a lot of people are misled. They think they're going to do whatever they want, die, and go to heaven. I think you're wrong. I think you're going to do whatever you want, die, and then somebody's going to say, hey, this is why you were sent here. And you didn't work on nothing. And you're going down lower. Whether that's hell burning forever, you figure it out. Because I tried talking, but nobody seems to want to listen. So you figure it. But it's going to be sad, because a lot of you guys are going to figure it out too late, because you're already going to be there. So that's why I said, the natal chart is saying, wow, this is going to be a powerful, impactful week. You might as well say you're in it already, because I think it's already July 28th or 9th. I forget what day it is, and I don't feel like looking it up. So you're already going into that first week of August. But it's just up to you to maybe don't rely on the Aries or Mars aggression as much, but try to make it a goal. You see, this is what you have to do. Who really matters to you? What really matters to you? How do you really feel? You got to start to use Saturn energy to figure that out. Because you're dealing with karma right now. And we're not done yet. But you're dealing with karma right now. And then you have to kind of find a way to talk to that person. Whether you do it face-to-face, telephone, letter, whatever. And you can always tell a person. My family, most of my family, I talk through voicemails. And every now and then we'll talk on the phone. But most of the time it's voicemails. It's just the nature of the family, because my family was highly explosive. And like now, you know, because I've been around for a minute, so we're talking decades. And people are busy as well. And plus, you know, one little word could cause people to blow up. So, and sometimes you're trying to make a person get your point across. And I think it's just better. Even like this, like me personally, I would prefer video. Because I could stop it, I can rewind it, I can take notes. Phone calls are good too if you want a phone consultation. But me personally, I would do that after I had a chance to listen to the video and stuff like that. Because I really want to understand. Like, I don't believe in social. Because being sociable is not necessarily going to help me. You know? But see, a chart, somebody did my natal chart, now I got a blueprint. Now I'm going to go home, study it right. Even if I'm talking to somebody, depending on what we're talking about. If we're just goofing off, okay, it doesn't really matter. You're just sitting there blowing, you know, laughing or whatever. But like, if we're talking like, let's just having a business meeting, and we're talking about goals and stuff like that, then I really want to be listening. I want to be listening to this person, you know, really trying to get as much information as I can. But on your natal chart, you want to see your natal chart, and you want to hear it. There's no way nobody could do that on just over the phone, unless you really got time to spend all that money. Because you would have really had to sit there and say, okay, this is your first house. Okay, that's the lead. Let me look at her chart. This is your first house. Okay, it's your first house because the AC and the EP are there. So that's how we know it's your first house. And Aries, you'd have to be explaining all that on the phone. That could take forever. But you'd have to do that through the whole chart. So if you're hearing what I'm saying, and then you do the degrees and stuff, you'd be there forever. Like the way I say that would be probably a 5 to 7 hour phone call. And some of you guys have seen me do 5 hour and 6 hour natal charts. That would be extremely expensive. All right. So now we're getting to the karma part. But the only thing I can do, because we were talking about Saturn. So now what we want to do is find where is Saturn on the space chart. And there it is, retrograde. But now you really want to know what house that is. See, that's the third house. So everything's still short. So somebody might be getting fired. Now let's explain this. Let's say what she says. Let me just use this as an example. Let's just say we're dealing with a woman whose career is men. You understand? Because this is what they're trying to tell you. The third house is ruled by Gemini, but it's the short house. In other words, if you took Gemini and put Gemini in the 10th house, which is your career house, I would know this is a person that doesn't keep jobs for very long. Or this is a person that might have a job over here, a job here or there, odd jobs. Or they might have a part-time job, because the third house is going to be short. So what I'm trying to tell you is right there, there's going to be a problem in the career sector. So Capricorns, beware. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's going to be a problem if the universe was saying, okay, this woman has a lot of male friends or a lot of male clientele, we're going to start taking that away. Because when you see Pluto retrograde, that's something getting taken away. It could be a loss of job, loss of client. Might only be a loss of one client, but he might be a client that's one of your best paying clients. I got a friend, like, I mean, I'm highly spiritual, so I'm not really with games. So I got a friend that's been supportive, but at the same time, where I'm moving now, I just don't need people around me that are going to distract me. So for me, it's worth losing whatever that guy was bringing to the table. And he was good. Now, he was good. But that's just how I feel. Maybe it's a stupid decision. I don't know. But that's how I feel. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go back for me to part-time, that make sure I have consistency. Because what happens is when you rely on people, they may feel a certain way. But my job is to tell the truth. And why would you come to me if I'm telling you what the universe is saying, and you're saying, oh, well, you know, I don't want to follow that, or I don't agree, or blah. So that's like having a military that when it comes time to fight, you call some other military. So now that general's looking at you like, what? Like, how dare you? You know, he's pissed off. So for me, I've always had that backbone, and I love it about myself. I've always had that backbone, because I could be ass out broke, but I'll still have that backbone. It's not pride, it's not arrogance. But sometimes you have to believe in something bigger than yourself. Like, you just have to believe in the universe. Because otherwise, that's how people think. You know, they think that somehow, oh, well, I'm a supporter, therefore you should do what I want you to. And I'm like, no. The reason why you came to me was because of my integrity. So how is it now you want me to break my integrity for that? So you can keep that and you can go on your way, and I'll just continue to trust the universe. Because I know what it's like to be poor and broke. And I'm sure God will come through like God always does. So that's what you see in the third house. That Pluto retrograde means something's getting taken from career. Now, because Capricorn is in the third house in the universe, but this is what I want everybody to know. It could be anybody with any type of career. Just to make sure you heard what I said. So when I read this list, don't go, well, I'm not on that list, so you ain't talking. Yes, I am. Capricorn is anybody in the career sector, but Capricorn is also anybody with the sign Capricorn. Moon sign, sun sign, ascendant, medium, coeli. Anywhere where Capricorn is on your chart, this could apply to you. But the third house is about communication, mental things, creativity, poetry, young people or young-minded people, brothers and sisters, environments around you, the brotherhood. It could mean your family. Short travel, short distances. Now, Saturn retrograde means something's out of control. Because, see, Saturn tends to put you in control, regulate. So Saturn retrograde means something out of control. But past life Saturn still deals with revolts and rebellion, even maybe having issues with your employer. See, because I've already gone through all this, and I hope it ain't no more, because I don't want to go through it no more. But see, my moon sign is Capricorn. Because when I first saw that, I knew it was coming, and I said, oh man, I don't know how. You know, I don't even have a job yet. I'm about to get a job. Let's hope everything goes well. But everything didn't go well, because the universe kept hitting me with my health. There was nothing I could do about it. But see, Pluto deals with health too. And some of these signs, like if you know what body parts are attuned to Gemini energy and stuff like that, you would know that too. So definitely add health. Then when I started overcoming the health problems, and the car went on me. Then when I overcame the car problems, then the family relatives came out of nowhere and said, we got to stay there, which messed me up. Then when the family relatives met, then my dukes fell out. And emergency personnel and the police had to come in. So this is the kind of stuff going on. And see, where you see Saturn at and where you see Capricorn at, that would be your employer. So remember, if it is a woman and you have men as your clientele, for that moment in time, he is your employer, because he's paying you for that service. So I'm just letting you know. So this is the type of stuff going on right now. So again, my advisory to her. Now, before I told her, Okay, I know they're kind of advising you not to get hot-headed. But I was saying, but sometimes you have to. Because me and my sister just threw down. Brutal. Brutal. I mean, just arguing. Threw down. But it was necessary because I told you, we just entered a new age with that blood moon in Aquarius. You can call it the Aquarius age. Now that I have more insight, because first I was saying the Aquarius age. But now that I have more insight, it's the accountability age. That's why you're talking about Saturn a lot. It's the accountability age. Like now when people do things, karma's going, the cause and effect. That's why they're teaching me Hindu mythology. Because Hindus believe in cause and effect. You can look it up. So if you do something bad at 12 p.m., you may get the effect of that you caused by 1 p.m. or sooner. It may not be 2 and 3 years down the line and 4 years down the line. When the universe finally disciplines you, you're going, what, why? I didn't do anything. Because they finally got you for some stuff you did 10, 15 years ago. It's not going to be like that no more. Because everything's speeding up. So now cause and effect, like that karma, people will see it more. And that's why I tell everybody listening, like that female, watch who you sleep with. Because it's sad when you see a female and she's a virgin or something, and she lets some guy lie to her, and she has sex and then she gets AIDS. That's so horrible. But I've seen that a lot of times in my life. And it could happen to a guy too. So you got to think more. See, you have to mature. Because that's the bottom line. You have to, it's nothing wrong with having fun, even going out dating, if that's what you want to do. But you have to have a little bit of maturity there. And that's really what Saturn is representing. And see, that's healthy. Notice how Saturn's in Virgo. See, that's your health too. Because when you start to think a little bit more. Because like I said, oh, I'm lonely. Oh, I haven't been held in a long time. And that's what you think about. So you meet somebody and they're down with it and you're down with it, but you're rushing. And that person going to have diseases. You don't know. You don't even know where her tongue's been. Or his tongue. When you have Saturn energy, you start to slow it down a little bit. See, you got to remember, Saturn and Virgo is about health. Virgo works with Vesta, and that's about spirituality. And I know it's, well, that takes all the fun out of it, yeah, but sometimes fun can be deadly. So again, with relationships, find a way to communicate, finding things out. Because the universe will be systematically taking away things from your career sector. See, and even your third house is Gemini. And your Gemini is in your 8th house. And again, I already said that because it's trying to make it more mature. So even in your 8th house, Gemini in your 8th house, believe it or not, is still Saturn. Say, well, how is it Saturn? Because Saturn is maturity. Gemini in your 8th house is, the 8th house is very deep. And what it does is pulling your Gemini energy down and make it mature. See, that's what I mean about a Gemini. And I got a friend that's an Aquarius, and he's like that. Like, they're more surface. They don't want to go deep. Like, if he meets somebody, he's already talking crazy. Like, hey, you just met that person. Slow down. And then I wonder, oh, why did we break up? Why did it go? Why did it end so fast? And why did it end like that? Because you were moving too fast. You got to slow it down. So that's what Saturn does, because Saturn deals with time as well. So again, that's this chart for the week of August 4th, 2018. I mean, the week ending. So you can go all the way back. If you want to start with July 28th, July 29th, however you want to do it. But it's the week ending, August 4th. And we just got out of the blood moon in Aquarius. God bless. Now remember, I got a lot of offers going on. Make sure you have the services offered and price list. Make sure you contact me. We get started. I want to thank everybody that's been contacting me. I'm very busy. I love being busy. Very well. And I always have stuff in the description box. Remember, if If you're like a Frank Zappa fan, a Jerry Garcia fan, if you're into metaphysical, you could call it metaphysical music if you want. You can check my music out. It is what it is. I love my music because I just feel, I just go with the feeling. But that's what intuition is, and that's how, like I said, if you want your higher self to talk to you or your guides or whatever, you got to learn intuition. I mean, don't get me wrong, because like you saw on this chart, they want this person to go more Saturn, which means they have to think a little bit more, because I think they probably have been feeling, and I think that may have not been the best decision, especially under what I'm reading. It's got to be a balance. Like I said, fun is great, but you still have to have a little Saturn with that fun. You still have to have a little bit of Saturn with that fun. Otherwise, you might not even be around to enjoy the laughter. So this is Get. God bless.